You have a question you are afraid to ask. Something that defines your limits. Something that makes you feel unwelcome. God knows what it is. So did the Ethiopian eunuch. The Ethiopian eunuch. He holds salvation in his hands and cannot understand it. A single scroll, wrapped in linen, bound with crimson cord. Not papyrus, not cheap ink on reed. This is fine vellum, sheepskin stretched thin, burnished smooth, written in strokes of iron gall. The weight of it, not just in his palms but in his chest. He turns the corner of a page with a fingertip, slow, as if afraid the letters might flinch. His hands, long, tapered, jeweled at the knuckles, tremble. Not from age, from reverence, from the ache of nearness. He is treasurer, keeper of a queen's gold, a man who commands caravans, who signs treaties in ink the color of dried blood. Yet here, in this chariot rolling through dust and sun, he is small. The wheels creak, wood on wood, a rhythm older than roads, and he reads, aloud. His voice, low, careful, accented, cuts the dry air. Who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? Isaiah, chapter 53. The desert listens. No birds, no wind, only the whisper of syllables unraveling into silence. He stumbles on a word. Despised, rejected, a man of sorrows. He pauses, breath catches, not from heat, from the sudden press of something unnamed, like a stone in the throat. He has come from Jerusalem, from the Temple Mount, from the outer court where foreigners stand behind stone barriers, where signs are carved in Greek and Latin. No stranger beyond this point. He stood there, gold rings on his fingers, perfume on his robes, and still excluded. Not because he is Ethiopian, not because his skin is dark as acacia wood, but because his body bears a mark, surgical, ancient, irreversible, a eunuch, cut off, not just from lineage, from worship, from the inner courts, from the altar, from the presence. And now, here, he reads of another cut off. He was taken from the earth. He was stricken, smitten by God. The words echo, but not the meaning. He reads of a servant, wounded, silent, led like a lamb to slaughter, and he wonders, is this a king, a prophet, a curse, or a promise? Why does this text speak of exclusion, yet feel like an invitation? The sun hovers above the horizon, flat and red. Dust rises in slow spirals. The scroll rests on his lap, open. The ink, black, sharp, seems to pulse. He looks up, eyes scanning the empty road ahead, searching, not for bandits, not for water, for a voice, a guide, someone who can step from the heat haze and say, this is about you. He has wealth, power, access to every scroll in Alexandria. But not this, not the key. The text is clear, the meaning obscured, like sunlight behind smoked glass. He is close, so close, and yet miles from understanding. You know this moment, not the desert, not the chariot, but the silence after prayer, the page you've read 100 times, now foreign, the ritual that no longer connects, the law that bars you, even as you seek the one behind the law. What if the very thing that marks you as outside is the very thing that draws you near? He closes his eyes. The wind lifts the edge of the scroll. A single line remains visible. By his wounds, we are healed. But who is we? And who counts? And does it include him? The weight, not in the scroll, not in the gold rings on his fingers, but in the silence between heartbeats, a hush that thickens the blood. He carries it in the set of his shoulders, slightly forward, as if bracing against a wind no one else feels. The chariot rolls, dust rises. Each bump in the road sends a tremor through the wood, up his spine. He does not flinch. He has learned stillness, learned how to wear absence like a garment. The law, not spoken, not written in this scroll, but carved behind his eyes, in letters of fire, Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1. Words that do not whisper, they strike. No one who has been emasculated shall enter the assembly of the Lord. A sentence, a wall, a verdict, not a suggestion, not a custom, a divine boundary, drawn in stone. He knows it by memory, knows it by the hollow behind his ribs. To be a eunuch is to be marked by removal. Not just flesh, not just seed, but standing, belonging, the right to draw near. He remembers the temple steps, the climb, sun on marble, his sandals slipping on the smooth stone. He reached the barrier, the stone partition, Greek letters, Latin, no foreigner beyond this point. He stopped, gold on his wrists, perfume in his robes, authority in his stride, and still halted. Not by guards, not by gates, by a line, invisible, unbreakable. He stood in the court of the Gentiles, the outer ring, the place for those who look in, who listen, who long, but never enter. The altar smoke rose, incense and burnt lamb. He breathed it in, felt the heat of the fire, heard the chant of priests. But the sound thinned as it reached him, as if holiness could not cross the divide. He was a man of rank, treasurer, keeper of a queen's coffers. He had signed treaties beneath olive trees, had sealed pacts with wax the color of rust, had stood before kings and spoken with the weight of empire behind him. But here, nothing. His title meant dust, his wealth, ash. The currency of Jerusalem was lineage, blood, body, and his body had been altered, cut, rendered unfit. Not by sin, not by crime, by surgery, by power, by necessity. Perhaps in childhood, perhaps before memory, the wound had long since closed, but the verdict remained open. He had traveled over 1,000 miles, months on the road, caravans through desert passes, nights under stars so thick they seemed to press down. He had crossed rivers on rafts of reed, had climbed mountain trails where the air thinned and the breath burned. All for this, to stand at the edge, to smell the sacrifice, to hear the psalms, to touch the outer wall, to place his palm on the stone and feel the vibration of prayer on the other side. He had hoped, not for glory, not for honor, but for inclusion, a sliver, a thread, a whisper that he, too, was seen. But the law did not bend, did not pause, did not make exception. The scroll on his lap, Isaiah, fine vellum, ink like dried storm. He had bought it in Jerusalem, paid in silver, carried it wrapped in cloth, as if it were a child. Now he reads, not for policy, not for statecraft, for solace, for a crack in the wall. Chapter 53. A servant, despised, rejected, a man of sorrows. The words land like stones in water, ripple through him. He knows this man, feels him, the isolation, the silence, the way the world turns away. But is this servant cursed or chosen? Is his suffering punishment or purpose? The text does not say, not clearly. The servant is cut off. He was taken from the earth, like him, like his own life, divided, interrupted. But the servant bears wounds that heal others. By his stripes we are healed. Who is we? Who stands inside that circle? Does it include the broken, the barred, the one who carries a body that does not fit the law's design? He thinks of Molech, not by name, but by echo, the smoke of child sacrifice, the hollow-eyed priests, the kings who burned their sons on stone. The law was forged in that fire, to separate, to purify, to draw lines against the nations. And in that separation, the eunuch became a sign, a living reminder of what was not whole, what was not natural, what was not of the covenant. The clouds gather now, not above the sky, but in his mind. Dark, heavy, pressing down, thunder in the distance, not sound, memory, the weight of centuries, of exclusion, of being the one who seeks but cannot enter, the one who serves but is not counted, the one who reads the promise but wonders if it speaks to him. The chariot moves, the wheels turn, the road stretches, and the scroll lies open. The ink does not glow, does not sing, but it holds a question, unspoken, trembling. Is there a God beyond the law? A mercy deeper than the verdict? A welcome wider than the temple walls? He does not know, not yet. But the question burns, and in that burning, hope. Thin, flickering, but alive. The wind lifts the edge of the page. A single line catches the light. He was pierced for our transgressions. The breath leaves his chest. The world narrows. Just the words, just the road, just the weight. And beneath it, something stirring. Not joy, not yet, but the faintest sense of being seen. Even here, even now, even him. A man moves. Not the fisherman from Galilee, not the one who walked on water. This one, Philip, feet pressing into sun-cracked earth, breath steady, purpose carved by a voice not his own. An angel stood, not with wings spread wide, not with thunder in its throat, but with clarity. A single sentence, dropped like a stone into still water. Go south. Take the road that descends from Jerusalem to Gaza. No explanation, no map, just motion, obedience as instinct. He turned, left the crowds, left the murmurs of new believers in upper rooms, walked into the thinning air, into the silence between breaths. The land changed. Hills gave way to dust, trees thinned, then vanished. Only rock and sky remained. The road, worn smooth by centuries of sandals, hooves, wheels, stretched ahead, a scar across the land. Empty, no traders, no pilgrims, no shade. Heat rose in visible waves, bending the horizon, a mirage of water that never came. The sun, white, relentless, pressed down. His robe clung to his back, sweat traced lines through the dust on his arms, and still he walked, not aimless, not hesitant, led, as if an unseen hand guided each step. Then, movement. A shape in the distance, slow, rolling. A chariot, wooden frame, iron-rimmed wheels, drawn by two weary mules. Dust rose behind it like a trailing shroud, and within, someone reading, not shouting, not chanting, a low voice, steady, cutting through the dry air. The Spirit spoke again, not with sound, but with certainty. Draw near, run, overtake. He ran, not the sprint of battle, but the pace of pursuit, of urgency, legs burning, lungs tight, dust kicked up with each stride. The gap closed, the chariot slowed, the voice grew clearer. Hebrew, from Isaiah. Chapter 53, a passage of sorrow, of silence, of suffering. He was led as a sheep to the slaughter. The words hung in the air, familiar, haunting, but not understood. The man inside looked up, dark eyes, tired, searching, not startled, as if he had been waiting, as if the desert had promised this meeting. "Tell me," he said, voice low, steady, "who is the prophet speaking of? Is it himself or another?" The question, simple, direct, but vast, like a door swinging open on rusted hinges. This was not curiosity, this was hunger, a soul pressing against the edge of revelation. Philip climbed in, sat beside him, no grand introduction, no lecture on law, no recitation of commandments. He began where the man was, with the scroll, with the text, with the suffering servant, and from that wound he opened the wound of the world. He spoke of a lamb not slain in temple smoke, but on a hill outside the city, of a king not crowned in gold, but in thorns, of a death that was not defeat, but deliverance. He named Jesus, not as teacher, not as rebel, but as fulfillment, the one who bore grief, not for his own sin, but for the brokenness of all, the one who was cut off from the land of the living, so that the cut-off might be brought near. He spoke of the cross, not as wood and nails, but as bridge, as threshold, as the place where exclusion ended, where the far off were drawn close, where the nations, Gentiles, eunuchs, outcasts were named as heirs. The chariot rolled, but the air inside thickened, not with heat, with presence. The man listened, not with the ears of a scholar, but with the heart of a seeker. His fingers traced the lines of text, then stilled, his breath slowed. The confusion that had lived in his chest for years, the weight of being barred, of being marked, began to loosen. Like a knot undone by unseen hands, the words were no longer distant, they were personal, they were his. Then, water, unexpected, a pool, not large, not deep, but clear, reflecting the sky, a ribbon of blue in the brown, a gift in the waste. The chariot stopped. The man pointed, not with pride, not with surprise, with certainty. Look, water. What prevents me from being baptized? No hesitation, no doubt. The question was not about ritual. It was about belonging, about whether the story he had just heard, this gospel of inclusion, was for him, for his body, for his history, for the mark that had barred him from the temple. Philip looked at him, saw not the title, not the robes, not the gold, but the hunger, the faith, the open door. And he knew the old boundary, Deuteronomy's decree, had met its end in this moment. The law that said no had been answered by grace that said yes. The exclusion carved in stone had been washed away in living water. They stepped down. The ground was cool beneath their feet. The water lapped at the edge. Philip led him in, not as master to servant, but as brother to brother. The man knelt. The water rose, covered his legs, his chest, his shoulders. Then immersion, a full sinking, as if descending into the tomb itself. The world muffled, the heat gone, only silence, only depth. Then up, gasping, water streaming from his face, his hair, his robes, dripping like rain. The sun struck his skin, warm, new. He stood, breathed, looked at Philip, smiled, not the smile of relief, but of arrival, of being found, of being named. The chariot waited, but the man inside was gone. In his place, a believer, a disciple, a child of the promise. The road stretched ahead, but it was no longer the same road. It was a path of grace, a river of life, flowing south, flowing forward, flowing into the nations. And Philip, gone, carried away by the Spirit, as suddenly as he had come, left the eunuch alone, but not abandoned, never again. The wheels turned, the mules pulled, the dust rose. But now, psalms, a voice singing, not in Hebrew, not in Aramaic, but in a tongue of his homeland, a song of deliverance, of joy, of a God who sees, who calls, who welcomes. The water behind him shimmered, reflecting sky, reflecting light, reflecting the face of a man, once barred, now belonging. The river moves, slow, clear, unstoppable, and in its flow, grace. Why this passage? Why Isaiah 53? Not the Psalms of Ascent, not the promises to Abraham, not the thunder of Sinai. This one, scarred, silent, buried in sorrow, a servant who suffers, who bears what is not his, who dies without protest. The eunuch's finger rested on those lines, not by accident, not by chance. The scroll opened to a man who was torn from life, like him, cut, separated, denied inheritance, denied lineage, denied the inner courts. The sun broke through, golden, sharp, slanting across the desert floor. Light pooled on the parchment, as if heaven leaned in. He was cut off. The words, they didn't just describe, they named. The eunuch, body altered, status fixed, barred by law, knew what it meant to be severed, not exiled by distance, but by design, by decree. The servant, innocent yet stricken, was torn from the living, not by age, not by disease, by violence, by divine purpose. The Hebrew, karath, cut, severed, like a branch lopped from the vine, like a name erased from the register. The same word used for covenant, for curse, for death. The eunuch felt it in his bones, the weight of absence, the silence where sons should have been. He was cut off from the land of the living, spoken of the servant, but heard by the outcast. The phrase, short, final, like a door slamming shut, no appeal, no return. The servant did not die in obscurity. He was removed, extracted, as if the earth itself rejected him, yet not for his crime, for theirs. The eunuch read it, and for the first time, his own exclusion was not the end of the story. It was a shadow cast by a greater severance, one that made sense of his. The word careth. It does not whisper, it strikes, like a blade through tendon, like a gavel falling. In ancient law, to be cut off was to be erased from the people. No burial in ancestral soil, no name carried forward. The eunuch lived under that sentence, not for sin, but by birth,
by body, by decree. And here, this servant, cut off not for his own rebellion, but for the rebellion of the world. The parallel trembled in the air, not identical, but intertwined. One bore shame, the other absorbed it. In that scroll, the eunuch found a kinsman, not by blood, not by nation, but by condition. A man who knew the silence of rejection, who walked the path of unbelonging, who was counted among the transgressors. Yet this kinsman did not wear shame like a garment, he carried it like a burden, then laid it down. The servant did not hide his wounds, he displayed them, not as proof of failure, but as proof of love. The eunuch saw, this one was not broken by the cut, he entered it, for others. But this kinsman redeemer did not share his shame, he took it, swallowed it, bore it into the grave. The servant's suffering was not punishment for himself, it was payment for the many. The eunuch, barred from temple, from lineage, from fullness, now saw a door, not opened by ritual, but torn open by sacrifice. The one who was cut off became the way in. The cross, the great reversal. The tree where the cut-off one became the bridge. Nails through wrists, breath stolen, darkness over the land. He was cast out, forsaken, cut off even from the Father's voice, so that no one else would have to be. The barrier was not removed, it was embodied. Christ became the exclusion, so that exclusion could die. Philip did not argue with Deuteronomy, did not quote priests, did not list exceptions. He pointed to Jesus. That was enough. The law had drawn lines. Jesus crossed them. The servant's suffering was the key, not to a better interpretation, but to a new reality. The eunuch didn't need permission. He needed a person, and he found him. In Christ, the cut-off one becomes the one who connects. The outcast becomes the messenger. The barred one becomes the bearer of good news. The man who could not enter the temple now carries the temple within. The Spirit dwells where the law once said, no entry. The baptism, more than water, more than symbol, a legal transfer, a cosmic adoption. The eunuch stepped into the pool not to wash dirt, but to be re-signed, reclaimed, rewritten. The water closed over him, not as a grave, but as a womb. He went down, an outsider, a man with a title but no tribe, a treasurer with no heir, came up, named, sealed, joined. The water streamed from his face. Sunlight caught each drop, like liquid fire, like glory made visible. The body that had been marked by exclusion now bore the mark of belonging. Isaiah 56, spoken centuries before, now fulfilled. To the eunuchs who keep my Sabbaths, who choose what pleases me, who hold fast to my covenant, I will give in my house and within my walls a memorial and a name better than sons and daughters. The promise was not repaired, it was surpassed. Not a son in the flesh, but a child in the spirit, an everlasting name, not written in dust, but in the book of life. The theology is not theory, it is blood, it is breath, it is body. Identification with Christ's suffering leads to participation in his glory. The eunuch did not merely admire the servant, he entered his story.
His baptism was not a ritual. It was a relocation, from the margins to the center, from silence to song. The exclusion of the Old Covenant, etched in stone, guarded by priests, enforced by law, dissolved, not abolished, fulfilled, in the water, in the blood, in the Spirit. The wall did not crumble. It was walked through, by one who was cut off, so that no one else would be. The story ends, abrupt, like a breath cut short. Philip, gone, vanished into the shimmer of the desert air. No farewell, no final word, just absence. A space where a man stood, now empty. The chariot still, the mules quiet. The scroll resting on the eunuch's lap, open to the place where sorrow speaks in silence. But he does not stir, does not scramble, does not scan the horizon for a robe, a voice, a sign. No, his hands remain steady, his breath slow, even. The wind brushes the edge of the parchment, a soft rustle, like leaves in a distant grove. He does not chase the miracle.
He lets it settle. He goes on his way, rejoicing, not with shouts, not with leaps, but with a deep hum in the chest, a warmth behind the ribs, the kind that rises not from triumph, but from recognition. He carries something now, not just the scroll, not just the memory, the presence, a quiet pulse beneath the skin, the spirit like a second heartbeat. He has the text. The words that once tangled now unfold, clear, direct, but more, he knows the one who wrote them. Not as a distant author, not as a name in a book, but as a voice that met him in the dust. The author leans close, speaks through the lines, breathes in the spaces between letters. Now, your road, the one you walk when no one sees, the stretch of sand between cities, between jobs, between prayers, the place where your voice fades, where your questions echo back unanswered, the dry stretch, the place where you feel cut, not by blade, but by silence, by distance, by years. What do you carry in that silence? The question you folded small and hidden in your pocket, the shame you wear like a second skin, the part of you that feels barred, too broken, too far, too different. The law inside your head that says, not for you. But listen, God often comes not in thunder, not in flame, not in angelic chorus. He comes in footsteps, in a voice beside you on the road, in a stranger who opens a scroll and says, do you understand? He sends not a decree, but a disciple, willing, present, ready to sit. The thing you think disqualifies you, your wound, your past, your difference, that is the very door, the crack where light enters, the place where water breaks through stone. The barrier is not a wall, it is a well, hidden, deep, waiting. The invitation was simple, not a command, not a test. Come up and sit. No credentials, no proof, just space, just presence, just a voice that says, here, with me. The water is waiting, not behind temple gates, not after years of waiting. Now, here, in the desert, in the moment, in the stillness after the voice departs. The pool, small, still, reflecting sky. The text, open. The spirit, near. Rest. Let the day soften. Let your shoulders drop.
The truth is not loud, it does not demand, it settles, like dusk over water. No one is too far, no road too barren, no heart too sealed. The spirit moves, not only in cities, not only in crowds, but in the single traveler, in the lone figure, in you. The desert road is not a dead end, it is an ambush. Grace leaps from the dunes, from the silence, from the moment you least expect. It does not come with fanfare, it comes with a question, with a scroll, with a hand extended. Now, breathe. The sun sinks, the sky bleeds gold into indigo, the air cools, touches your face. The weight of the day, gone. The questions, still there, but not urgent,
not sharp, held, like stones in a palm, not thrown, not hidden, just carried. The water behind you, the road ahead, but now, stillness. The mules step forward, the wheels turn, dust rises. But the song, soft, low, a hum in the throat, a prayer without words. The stars appear, one, then another, then a host. You are not alone. You were never alone. The one who met him in the desert meets you now. In the quiet, in the drift, in the space between breaths. Rest. The night is kind, the sky wide, the spirit near. Sleep. You are found.